How many of you come?
Honey?
How many people come with you this time?
I came with my friend, he's Stanley, he's a pediatrician. This is his wife.
From where? California?
He's from California, close to
California.
where I live.
Close to where you live?
Yeah.
In Orange County?
Cerritos. They are from Los Alamitos.
Los Alamitos.
I migrated to US in 72. I was trained in New York and then settled down in California since 1979.
I see, okay.
And I also brought with me my sister and her husband and my granddaughter and her daughter too.
This is all your family?
Yes, sir.
Your sister?
Yes, sir.
And he is my niece's husband from Melbourne.
I see. Okay. So you all arranged to meet here?
We will be here till Saturday morning, but they will be leaving. We will be here till Saturday morning. They will be here till Thursday.
Thursday.
Wednesday.
This time you did not bring your son with you?
No.
Your son? Your son?
Oh, but yeah, he couldn't come because he's involved. He has to, because of the job involvements, he couldn't come.
I see.
But he will be monitoring from home.
And your friend, the lady who used to come?
They didn't come.
She didn't come either?
No. Only both of us came.
Okay.
You know.
Yes.
I know.
So you want to say anything or ask anything?
Okay. Tana Ajahn, do I have the permission to make a request? Okay. There is a worldwide audience for your talks. Yes, you have the worldwide audience. But majority of them do not understand Thai. So for their sake, for their welfare, can you kindly consider giving a sermon in English at least once in 2 weeks or once a month?
I usually do, but it's in the form of question and answer.
Yes,
about once a month there will be question and answer.
Yes,
Then I use that as the platform for my Dhamma talk.
Yes, but can you give a sermon as you do right now? You gave a sermon in Thai. Can you give a general sermon and then to be followed by those questions and answers?
I usually not what you call accustomed to giving a sermon in English, you know. So I need something to initiate my talk. So I usually like the question and answer thing more. So you ask me something, then I say. But the sermon is usually general. Sometimes it's not. It doesn't get to the point more than like the asking question and answering question. So I cannot do what you ask me to do, because first I need someone to be in the audience to understand English. I cannot just sit here talking in English when everybody else is Thai. So I need somebody like you to come here, and then we can talk in English. But basically I teach the basic, the 3 steps that you all know already: Dana, Sila, and Pavana. Just now I talk about these things: Sila, Dana, and Pavana. Except that I might expand the meaning of these words into more practical terms in the way how we live and we apply this thing in real life. That's all. But basically it's all about Dana, Sila, and Pavana. Yeah.
Thank you. You have questions. Here,
Okay.
So I have a few questions about meditation practice. Is there any particular time that is best for meditation in your point of view?
Yes, all the time. Whenever you have the time, that's the best time to meditate. Yeah, so when you are free and if you can meditate. But the surrounding can be, you have to decide where is better. It's best when you are alone in a quiet environment where there's no distraction, like going to a forest monastery. Like here we have places where people can meditate in the forest and being alone with the birds and the trees. That's the best surroundings. But if you cannot, then you just have to pick whatever you have.
In short, best done at the time of least disturbance.
Right, yeah.
Next question I have it about position when you meditate. When you are young, you can fold your legs and typical position, folded legs, folded arms, back straight. But as we age, it's become difficult.
If you can sit on a chair, sit on the bed. Yeah. If you cannot sit cross-legged, you can just sit on a chair.
Is it incorrect to meditate while you are lying sleeping? I know you tend to go to sleep, but if you don't sleep laying down on a bed, is it a wrong position to do?
Lying down is too comfortable and makes it easy to go to sleep. So either you should use the three other positions: standing, walking, or sitting. And you might need to do a lot of walking first to make you alert and to also to develop mindfulness. Because if you have no mindfulness, when you sit you will not be able to calm your mind. You need to have mindfulness. You need to stop your mind from thinking first. If you cannot stop your mind from thinking when you sit and you try to watch your breath, you will not be able to do it because your mind will keep thinking about this and that. And so sitting will not be successful and will make you feel uneasy, uncomfortable, and you don't want to meditate. So before you can meditate successfully, you need to develop mindfulness first, which you can do by walking or standing. You can do it along with what you do in your daily life. There are things that you do that you don't need to think. But sometimes you think while you do things together. This is, according to Buddhism, this is not being mindful. To be mindful, you either have to watch what you're doing and not thinking about other things, besides from what you do. If you're brushing your teeth, you should only concentrate and watch your brushing of your teeth. If you're combing your hair, dressing, eating, you have to focus on this action only and don't think about other things at the same time.
One thing at a time.
Right. Don't multitask.
So I have another question to ask about regarding the 5 precepts. I have been absolutely following the 5 precepts for the last couple of years now. I have a question about food. Now, I know to kill an animal and eat is wrong. But if you are not a vegetarian and if you have been used to eating meat, is there anything wrong in meat that is available in the market, is not killed specifically for you, or is it better to be a complete vegetarian?
You can eat meat that's already dead meat. As long as you have nothing to do with the killing, it's okay. You're not breaking the precept.
You're not breaking the precept at all.
It's only when you tell people, say, I want a chicken tomorrow, then you're telling people to go kill a chicken for you. Then this is breaking the precept. Or you kill the chicken yourself. But if there's a dead chicken sell on the store and you go and buy it, then that's not breaking the precept. You only break the precept when you do it yourself or you tell someone else to do it for you. So as long as you don't do these 2 things, then you're not breaking the precept. Or if you kill by accident, this is also not breaking the precept. If you happen to be driving and a dog just ran across and got hit by your car and die, you're not killing that dog. Is that dog committing suicide? Or being unmindful and run across your car and you hit it and it died? You're not breaking the precept this way. In order to break the precept, you have to have the intention and the action. If you see a dog walking on the side of the street and you intend to hit that dog and kill that dog, then you are breaking the precept.
Because if you go and
Okay.
if you go and buy the meat from the stores, you are just buying the 4 elements. There is
Just like vegetable.
just 4 elements.
Just like the vegetable.
Yeah, because it is very well explained in the Jivaka Sutra by the Buddha about the 3 conditions. That when Jivaka asked that question, is it okay for the monks to partake in flesh?
The Buddha said monk can eat fresh meat as long as they don't tell people to do it for them, or they don't kill it themselves. But they cannot eat the meat if it's specifically killed to give to the monks. Like if you are a farmer and I happen to come by your village and you see, oh, there's a monk, so tomorrow I'm going to kill a chicken and make some curry chicken and give to the monk. And when you give the curry chicken to the monk, you tell him that you kill this chicken specifically for me. Then I say, in that case, I cannot accept it. But if this is your normal thing that you do in your daily life, you kill chicken to make some curry chicken for yourself, and then you share this and give it some of this to me, sharing it with me, then I can take that.
And the understanding that, for example, they say, oh, if you don't kill the cockroaches will take over the world. But nature is such that never happens. Then the other question is, some say, oh, as a vegetarian, you are not killing anybody, anything. Mm-hmm. But during the process of that plant growing up, there is where insects knowingly or unknowingly is losing their lives. So there is always, whether you are vegetarian or whether you eat meat, the losing of the lives are always there. And it is more of an intention. What is your intention? Are you killing this one for your consumption? Or do you suspect that so-and-so has killed this for your consumption? Or have you seen that killing occurring of what you are eating? So therefore, if you take the meat from the market, it is just you are taking the 4 elements for your consumption.
That's right. Okay.
Pertaining to that question, I have another question. Most priests that I know do not partake meat. But
you mean priests or monks? Christian priest or Buddhist priest?
Monks.
Oh,
Buddhist monks.
Okay.
Now, if as far as the sila of a Buddhist monk is concerned, whether he consumes some meat that's offered to him, not killed specifically for him, versus a monk complete vegetarian, there is a difference between the sila of these 2 monks.
No difference. No difference.
Do you have anything?
The monk may not eat meat saying it is ahimsa, because ahimsa. Doesn't want to. But at the same time, if the monk breaks one of those 227 Vinaya rules, and that is isn't it far more of a greater this thing than partaking the meat?
Can you repeat the question again?
The monk would say, yes, we do not take meat. Uh-huh. I don't eat meat.
Okay.
And if that particular monk is to say, look, when you come give me the dane.
The what?
when you give the dana, the offering, the food, when you offer the dana, I want to make sure that you give this. You give the menu.
Give the menu.
Menu. And what is the point in how can a monk give the menu, ask for the food, and isn't that is a greater Vinaya break of the Vinaya rule rather than you becoming a vegetarian?
That's right. If you're a vegetarian, you just have to keep it to yourself. You should not tell the people who give you food that I am a vegetarian. Because as monks, we're supposed to be happy with whatever we receive. We are not supposed to demand.
Going beyond the vegetarian aspect to say that, okay, I should have a pudding, I should have this particular dish, that is against the Vinaya rules.
These are cravings, see. And the whole point of being a monk is to get rid of our cravings. So we must not let our cravings dictate our life. We have to eliminate our cravings by accept whatever we get and eat whatever we get.
Then again, when a monk says, or a lay person or the monk, whatever it is, when they say the Vinaya rules have to be bent or changed, whatever, according to the 21st century, isn't it that the Buddha very clearly has said, these are akaliko, this is what the Dhamma and what these Vinaya rules that have been put there is for all times.
Yes.
Therefore, this cannot be changed because I think Venerable Revata, I think, when he met in the Vinaya Pitaka, when he met the Buddha, and when the Buddha asked the question, he says, Venerable Sir, you are the only one who can create the Vinaya rules, and you are the only one who can remove any of those Vinaya rules. So therefore, if the lay people or the present day monks try to change these rules, they are really going against the word of the Buddha.
They're just departing from the teaching of the Buddha.
The Buddha.
So they're not going toward Nibbana, they're going toward samsara.
That's right. So if they drive a car and say, oh, otherwise how are we going to go there? My feeling about that is, if I invite a monk to my house for a dana, it is my duty to see that that monk is given the transport.
That's right.
Not to tell that monk, okay, drive the car and come home, come to my place and I will give him cash for his petrol or whatever it is.
That's right. Okay.
Is he breaking a precept by driving a car?
Well, the monks are not supposed to be driving any kind of vehicle. In the old days, not even to drive an ox cart. See, monks supposed to walk. The Buddha walked wherever he went.
About partaking food, usually it's customary to have your food before the noon time. What is the rationale for doing that? At the Buddha's version of it.
Just to eliminate more chores unnecessarily. See, once you finish eating by noon, then the rest of the time you can use it for meditation. If you still wait for the evening meal, then you cannot concentrate on your meditation because you're still thinking about eating your evening meal. And so this will disrupt or interrupt or obstruct your meditation practice.
Occasionally, if you feel really hungry,
no, it's not hunger of the body, see, it's the hunger of the mind. See, the body, once it had only once a meal, is enough for keeping the body alive. And any hunger is not from the body, it's from the mind, which you have to suppress it by using mindfulness and meditation. I've been eating once a meal since I've been a monk. And by the way, today is my anniversary. I was born, I became a monk on this day 43 years ago. And I've been eating once a day, once a meal all this time. It's not the hunger from your body, it's from your mind, which is much more painful than the hunger from your body. But if you know how to meditate, if you know how to suppress your thought of hunger, then you will not feel hungry. So this is a way of forcing yourself to meditate. You have to meditate in order to suppress your mental hunger. And once you can suppress your mental hunger, you can suppress any kind of hunger, because there are other kind of hunger besides food. You're hungry for your wife, you're hungry for movies, televisions, for traveling. These are all cravings or hunger that you need to suppress with your meditation practice.
The taste is not created by the tongue or by that whatever they say. For example, sugar. Sugar is not sweet, nor is the tongue sweet. But when the sugar comes in touch with the tongue, there is this chemical reaction with our body, with our brain, interprets as sweetness. So therefore, there is no reality of what you are tasting. The reality is mind-created delusion that it is sweet.
I have another question. This is probably a moot question. If, say, you have a temple which in the village, and the priest really want to spread the religion and make it a little more convenient for the followers to come and see him, is it wrong for him to suggest to the congregation, let's make a bigger place for you to sit down, and indirectly not asking money for him to improve this place? Should the priest start that thought?
Well, if there's a cost for expansion, and if the monk just says so without asking for any favor, it's okay. Like they say, oh, this place is getting too crowded. We have too many people. We need to expand this place. I can say this, but I cannot ask you directly, can you help me expand this place? So I can only initiate the conversation. And then it's up to you whether you want to pick up that conversation by saying, okay, we'll help you. We'll raise some money. Then this is on your own. See, I'm not asking you to raise money for me to expand this place. I only tell you the problem, the need. I can do this. As long as I don't ask you. The Buddha said a monk cannot ask favor from people that did not indicate that they are willing to support our need for, But if someone tell us ahead of time, like for instance you say, Pante, if you need anything, let me know. Then if you say this, when I need something, I can tell you so. But if you never say this thing, I cannot ask you for what I need.
So we can ask you.
That's why lay people have to offer first. See? Lay people say, Pante, should you need anything which is logical, sensible, and right, not wrong, I'll be happy to provide you with that if I can. Then I can ask you that. See. But if you don't ask, I cannot. I can only ask people I can only ask people who are my family. In my family, I can ask them. If I need something, if I need medicine, I say, I need some medicine, and I cannot get it anywhere else, then I can ask my family. But I cannot ask other people. Or I can ask someone who offer their help ahead of time, then I can tell them. Say, sir, you told me that if I need anything, I can tell you. Now I do. I need some medicine. So
I want to find out how I can meditate. What is the best way to meditate if I'm beginner?
Or you meditate by reciting a mantra.
I have
Bhutto, Bhutto. But you have to do it all day long, see. before you can sit down and meditate successfully. You first need to have this mantra in your mind to prevent you from thinking. So you should try to do this in your daily activities. When you don't have to think, then you should, if your mind should think about something, then you should stop it by replacing it with the mantra, Bhutto, Bhutto, Bhutto. And if you can suppress your other thoughts, then when you sit, you can concentrate on your breath, or you can continuing using the mantra. And then your mind will become calm and peaceful and eventually stop thinking completely.
When you come to that stage, when you are calm, what will you do?
You are happy. You don't need to do anything. Then you find a way to make yourself happy without having to have money, without having to have a husband or anything. You can be happy this way. You don't have to travel all around the world to make you happy. So this is what you're looking for. Another way of making yourself happy, without having to rely on anything to make you happy.
Most people ask, what is the purpose of meditation?
Make you happy, so that you don't have to have a husband, don't have to have a wife, don't have to have money. The monks don't have husband or wife. The Buddha he gave up his wife and his family, and he can be happy without having them. In fact, by having them, it makes you not happy, makes you more sad or unhappy, because you have to worry about them. Sometimes you quarrel with them, So having anything is the Buddha said, is suffering, it's not happiness, because whatever you have can cause you to be unhappy. So it's better not to have anything. But in order not to be able to not to have anything, you have to be happy inside. And so you have to meditate. When you meditate, you become happy, then you don't need anything or anybody.
But if you are already in trouble by marrying or having children, you can still meditate.
Why not?
You can meditate regardless of how your body is, because meditation doesn't require your body. Meditation requires mindfulness, your ability to stop your thoughts, that's all.
To create that atmosphere, for you to be able to calm your mind and to have a samadhi, you have to create the causes or the conditions for that to occur. In other words, you have to not divulge too much in the worldly affairs.
Of course, you have to stop everything and then just concentrate, except doing what you only absolutely need to do, like taking care of your body. You have to eat, you still have to eat, you still have to bathe, you have this thing you do, but you do it with a mantra in your mind, instead of thinking about other things.
So the less the involvement you have with the worldly things, the better your meditation is going to be.
That's right, that's why you become a monk.
Exactly, that is
it's quite obvious.
The highest level.
Now, us thinking we are too old to be,
You're never too old. You're never too old.
That is only an excuse.
Yeah, only an excuse.
If you have your own children, your family, you are Buddhist and your parents are Buddhist, but your children doesn't seem to be very interested. They are busy in other things in life. What way you can kind of make your children realize this way of life?
It's the way you raise them. See, you have to raise them Buddhist from the time when they are young. But if you don't, then they won't become Buddhist. See? If you let them go to school and follow what the school tells them to do, especially in America, they separate religion from school. So you lose this training to your children. So they don't become Buddhists because you don't train them to become Buddhists.
Having lost that opportunity, is there any other way to bring them back into fold?
Take them to the temple as much as possible, like you do today. Where every time you come to the monastery, Bring them with you.
In fact, if you set an example, they will always tend to follow you.
That's right. They eat the kind of food you eat. They speak the language you speak, right? So if you worship, you follow Buddhism, they'll follow Buddhism. But if you don't train them to follow you, then they won't follow you. Because you let somebody else train them for you now. You let the school train them for you. So they train them to be secular now. See, instead of being religious, they become secular.
If they see you meditating frequently, they
They'll
will
ask you.
also get that thing,
Yeah.
and they will try to sit with you.
Right. Same thing. You eat anything, they'll eat the same food that you eat. They sleep in the same house you sleep. They'll do the same thing that you do. See, if you watch television, they'll watch television with you. If you meditate and you turn off the television, then they'll meditate with you. See? So
I have
this
another
is,
question. Is it not pertain to that? Regarding higher education for Buddhist priests. Of course, religious Buddhist education at a higher level is great. But most of the priests nowadays go to university to study. Non-religious priests. Is he breaking a precept or rule?
no, they're just being diverted, distracted, or being delusional. They forget that the highest knowledge is in Buddhism. Because the only knowledge that can get rid of all your sadness, your suffering is Buddhism, the knowledge that Buddha had discovered. Regardless of whatever you study in this world, even if you graduate from Harvard or MIT, you will still cry, you will still be sad. But if you graduated from the Buddha school, you will never be sad, you will never cry.
Ajahn, when you ask for the robes as a layperson, in that say where all the monks have got together, I think 14 or now there is a minimum amount of monks who should be there during an ordination.
Yes, 10.
And during that ordination, the person who's getting ordained tells that assembly of monks, Sabba dukkha nissarana nibbana satchikaraniya. Therefore, allow me to wear these robes for the sake of Sabba dukkha nissarana nibbana satchikaraniya. So, if that is for what you are asking to wear the robes, then how is it? Is there any room for them to go for higher education on this, or to do this, that, or the other thing?
No, they are breaking their vows.
They are breaking the vows.
Without knowing it.
Yes.
That's a problem.
I think they know, but yet they break the vows.
They ignore, they try
They
to...
don't want to.
Try to forget.
I don't know, forget. But they know what they are doing is wrong.
But maybe sometimes when they say the vow, they didn't even understand because it's in Pali.
Because Pali
and they don't read the translation of the vow that they made. When you become a monk, you made a vow to the assembly of monks that from here on forth, I'm going to devote my life to the study of the teaching of the Lord Buddha, for the eradication of defilement, for the eradication of suffering, for the eradication of the rounds of rebirth.
Yes, but some of them, they know Pali well. They know Pali well. It's simple words. Sabba all, dukkha, nissarana, to be reduce it, to get away with it. Nibbana satya karaniya, for me to practice towards Nibbana. So there's no excuse.
I have one more question regarding transfer of merits. Is it possible for you to transfer merits to a departed one?
To transmit or to...
Transfer merits to a departed one.
You mean to...
Anumodana.
Yes, you can share the merits that you make to the departed.
But shouldn't he be in a position to accept that merit? So he may be born.
It depends on the position of the departed, which kind of position he or she is in. If she's become a deva, he or she doesn't need this merit. It's only a preta that needs the merit.
So in otherwise, through your kind heart, that you are trying to transfer the merits, but you may be doing something which won't bring any results because he is not ready to accept that merit. He may be born somewhere where you can't accept.
Then
so you are blindly doing that.
Yeah, sometimes just to be safe, because you don't know which status that particular person is in. So you just want to be safe, so you send it anyway. Yeah.
In other way, that means for your own satisfaction, you are doing that.
Partly because you want to help someone. You care for that person, and you don't want that person to suffer or to be in need. So you want to help that person. So it's okay. It's what we call metta. See, metta, having love, compassion toward other beings, whether they're human or non-human. You can do this.
Can another mind take over another person's?
No.
They say in Sri Lanka, they say.
You cannot.
Because it's a huge belief in Sri Lanka.
Yeah. Then why don't you invite the Buddha to take over your mind? Then you can become a Buddha without having to do anything, right?
If a preta can do all that, it's not easy for a preta to come and they say hurt the people.
No, they cannot hurt anybody. You only hurt yourself through your own fear, your delusion. Nothing can hurt you but your own delusion. You create the delusion that somebody is going to hurt you, then you become afraid. Yes. Then you hurt yourself this way. Nothing can hurt you. Each individual mind does not have any power to overcome another mind, to cause any problem with another mind.
How can you overcome fear of snakes?
She has a phobia for animals.
Well, just think someday when you die, you might become a snake. So when you become a snake, are you still afraid of being a snake? It's just a body. The snake is the body. The mind is still the same mind, see. The mind transforms from one body to the next, that's all.
So how do you get that fear out from your mind?
Well, you have to use there are two steps of doing this. The first step, if you're afraid just of that particular object, stop thinking about that particular object. Like using a mantra, Bhutto, Bhutto, Bhutto. And when you don't think about that object, then your fear will disappear. But every time you think, you'll still be afraid. So then the next thing you want to do in order to get rid of your fear, like Dong Ta Mahabua, he said, you have to investigate the difference between you and that particular object. Dong Ta Mahabua said he used to be afraid of the tigers. So he compared himself with the tiger. I have hair, the tiger have hair. I have teeth, the tiger have teeth, I'm not afraid of my teeth, so why should I be afraid of the teeth of the tiger, So he compared all the 32 parts of the body, and he said the body, my body and the tiger body are the same. If I'm not afraid of my body, why should I be afraid of the tiger's body? The only difference that my body doesn't have, like a tiger, is the tail. Maybe this is what I'm afraid of, it's the tail of the tiger. So after investigating this thing, he eventually overcame his fear.
This is Ajahn Kao Analeo.
Huh?
Ajahn Kao Analeo.
Ajahn Kao using that. Ajahn Mahabua wrote it in the book.
Mahabua wrote it in that Ajahn Kao Analeo.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, we fail to realize that fear itself is a defilement.
It is.
Yeah.
It's
a very big defilement.
It's suffering. It's really a suffering. It's not defilement. It's the cause of this fear is your aversion. You decide to be away from this thing.
That as a result of the strong attachment to this self.
You want to protect yourself. You're afraid that you'll lose because this particular thing is harmful to your body. So that's all it comes down to is you're afraid to die. You don't want to die. So you're afraid of anything that can cause you to die. But if you look at the truth that regardless of what may happen, you will die anyway. So if you can accept that you're gonna die and you're willing to die, then you will not be afraid of that snake or that tiger.
And also not understanding the death is only in it is the
That's
death
right.
of the body,
The body
not
which is
with the
not,
chitta.
and the body is not you. You are not in the body.
Body.
You're in the mind. So
And that the chitta does not die.
that's right.
So I have one more question. Can you explain to me in very simple language the words mudita and upeksha?
Again,
Mudita and upeksha.
mudita and what? The other one?
Upeksha.
Ubekha.
Upeksha.
Ubekha. Okay.
Plain simple language
Yeah,
in English.
okay.
How do you explain?
Mudita is to be happy with other people's happiness. See, if it's your birthday, I come and buy you some birthday cake. This is mudita. Congratulate on the person's happiness. If you happen to be promoted in your position, I come and congratulate you and say, I'm very happy with your promotion. This is mudita. To be happy with other people's happiness or gain. Why ubekha is the other way around. Ubekha is when you see somebody unhappy because they're sick, and there's nothing you can do about it, then you just have to remain ubekha. You cannot say anything because whatever you say might hurt that person, and you cannot do anything that will help that person. Then the only thing you can do is just say, sorry, I cannot do anything.
So it's be neutral.
Yeah, neutral. Because you don't want to hurt yourself by trying to help someone that you cannot help. Then you become sad, see, if you don't have ubekha. But if you have ubekha, the Buddha says, you have to look at it as the product of that person's karma. The position that he is in right now is the result of his karma. And there's nothing that you can do about it. Okay.
The example of that is when the Buddha knew when the Sakyas were to be destroyed by King Kosala, there is nothing
You can do it. Yeah. So you just have to let it happen. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? Because we're almost running out of time.
Yeah,
Okay.
could you please explain that what is the real meaning of that anitya, dukkha, anatta,
Anatta.
anatta,
Anatta.
anatta?
Okay. Anatta is something without self. Like the pose here is anatta, right? You know there's no self in the pose, right?
Yeah.
Is there a self in the tree? No, no self. Is there a self in the wind? In the rain? There's no self, see. So the same thing with this body. This body is just composition of the four elements. There's no self in this body. But the mind's delusion, think that there is a self, think that there is I in this body, there is mind in this body. So the Buddha teaches us to think the other way, to think that the body has no self. Because in this body all you have is just the four elements. See? Is the water element a self? No. Is the earth element a self? Is the air element a self? No. Is the fire element a self? No. And when they combine to become a body, can they become a self? No. It's just the mind that possesses this body and its delusion, telling it to think that this body is the self, belongs to the mind. The mind creates the self, the delusion, the self by its own delusion. And whatever it possesses, it considers to belong to it. See? So the Buddha wants to destroy this delusion by looking at the truth, looking at the actuality of the body.
Anatya,
Anatta means no self. See? Atta means self. Anatta means no self.
no self.
The opposite of self. Anatta is the opposite of self.
The impermanence means, I mean, what?
Or impermanent is changing, never the same, and also rise and cease. This is impermanent.
So when you are doing that kaya anupassana bhavana,
Yeah, you want to see understand the true nature of this body.
Yeah, we categorize into 32 parts, and so when you are thinking that way around, if we are going to take as a person is exists, so if there is no person exists, how can we be participate? I mean, into 32 parts. How can we divide it into 32 parts and think about that one, anitya, dukkha, anatta, everything not sustained and everything going to impermanent something. So do we still have to think about the way of that everything going to form based on that 4 component, and there is no person over there? So is that the way to, we have to start that Kayanupassana meditation, or else there is a person, or he's going to not sustain, he's going to die one day and going to destroy and everything, is going to go to that normal state.
You have to look at all aspects of the body. See, anicca is impermanent.
Yeah.
The body changes, it rises and ceases, so that you can then will not be deluded to think that it will exist forever. So that you then you can let go of your attachment to the body. Because if you don't, you will have dukkha.
Yeah.
If you know that it's gonna be destroyed, it's gonna disappear one day, then you must tell your mind not to be attached to it. So when it happens, then you will not be hurt. You will have no dukkha. If you see anicca, or if you see that the body is not you, the body is just the 4 elements. So this is the purpose of contemplating or investigating the body, to see that it is impermanent. It's gonna be dead one day, and it's not you. So there's nothing you should be afraid of or be sad about this body. You're only sad because you don't want it to disappear. You want it to be with you all the time. That's all. That's the purpose of contemplating the body.
Thank you.
Okay.
This.
Okay. One last
I'm
question.
thinking about one more thing. Most people are afraid of going past a cemetery, thinking that dead people are there. But isn't that not true?
Well,
There be
you pick up the graves and all you find are the skeletons, and the remains of the body. It's just people's fear and irrationality that makes them to be afraid. But with monks, we go and meditate in the cemetery. That's the best place to meditate, because nobody goes there. No one disturbs you. And also,
Very calm and quiet environment.
and they also force you to really think rationally. And you say, there's nothing. They're just dead bodies. And that dead body and your body is no different. Only the difference is my body is still breathing, that's all. But those bodies, they don't breathe anymore.
the dead person's mind won't be there,
No, it's already gone somewhere else.
When a person dies, does it go instantly, or does it?
It just severs. It lost connection with the body. See, the mind is in the spiritual world, while the body is in the physical world. The mind has never come into the physical world. It's only connected by the mind's consciousness, that's all. And when the body dies, this connection is severed. So the mind remains in the spiritual world. And it becomes a deva if it has make a lot of merits, or it becomes a hungry ghost, or it's in a hellish state if it's done a lot of a bad karma. That's all. The mind never live in this world. And then it goes on and look for a new body. That's when it comes back to this world again, when it gets a new body. Okay? I think we are running out of time. Okay? I'm sorry. Very interesting conversation. But if you want, you can come back tomorrow. We'll do it again tomorrow.
Can I pick some books?
Yes, we have some English books over there. You can go take a look.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
All right. May you all be well and happy and advance in your practice, and maybe become enlightened one day. Okay.